So hi, I'm Bruce Wight, I'm the Students' Union President, and we are here today with Tim, but Tim's going to give you a formal introduction of who he is, what he does at university. So Tim, over to you for 2 seconds.
Thank you, Bruce. I'm Tim Woods. I'm the Pro Vice-Chancellor for Learning and Teaching and the Student Experience. My background is that I've been the head of department in English, a lecturer in English, and then I became the Dean of the Arts faculty, and now I'm looking after the whole university remit for student experience.
So Tim is here with us today to provide answers from the university from all the feedback we've been getting from students this week and what we're calling Speak Week. It's a brand new kind of thing we're trying out to see, is it the best way we can get feedback from students by literally just going out and talking to you. It seems like a foreign concept, but we need to get better at it as a union. We thought we were pretty good, but again, the raw data you get from talking to students face to face in public is the easiest way to go, you know, what's going on in your lecture? You never know, it's a simple conversation you can have with a student and it can make a world of difference during their time. So moving on, Tim, how have you found Freshers Week and Teaching Week 1, as we're going to coin the term, but your first few weeks here?
Yes. Well, it's been pretty hectic. One of the things I've most appreciated is seeing a fuller campus.
Obviously, yes.
Because we've moved the students back from Llanbaden onto this campus, and there's a decidedly better buzz about the place as a consequence, more students. And I attended the welcome weekend on Friday and Saturday. It was enthusiastic. The students seemed very happy. The new arrivals seemed very happy. The parents were very grateful for the drinks and the buns and what have you in the hall. And there was a really good atmosphere there. On the Sunday, I attended the welcome for the international students, and that was terrific. They were very engaged, very pleased to be here, and that seemed a good event as well. And then, so, you know, the first week of registration, I popped into the hall to see how things were going there. People seemed to be encouraged and engaged with their choice. A general air of excitement and enthusiasm to be back in AberSU.
So now moving on to some of the feedback we received. The first question we're asking students this week is what works well in AberSU and what works well at AberSU University. Some of the themes we've got back is it's a lovely, friendly, welcoming community. It's a beautiful location of the campus and the town, and it's a very friendly university staff as well as union staff. But before I add any more feedback in, Tim, what works well for you in AberSU?
Well, I'm very pleased to hear that that's the sort of student feedback you're getting. For me, the thing that works best in the university is the quality of the teaching, the excellence of the teaching. I think we lead the way in this in many respects, and it's the quality for which AberSU is gaining its reputation. We received a TEF Gold this year, and we also were nominated as the University of the Year for Teaching by the Times University for the second time in a row, and that's a real accolade.
I feel like I should need to explain kind of a little bit to the camera. These are quite big deals. Most students don't actually understand the contextual importance of this, but we've just won teaching quality for the second year in a row, I believe.
That's right.
And that's unprecedented. That's never happened before, as far as I'm aware.
No, that is unprecedented.
So, and you've made a good choice by coming here, is what we're trying to say, basically.
Indeed.
The other little bits of feedback, some from what works well with you here at Aber. So the access to the IT facilities on campus, everybody's been raving about the amount of computer labs we have, which personally, I was not a comp sci student or a person that used computers very often. I was a maths student, so it's good to hear that you have adequate facilities and actually really quite good facilities by the sounds of it in terms of IT labs. So have a bit of praise, I kind of think.
Well, again, I'm pleased to hear that. The library refurbishment last year produced a space with a lot more computers.
Yeah.
We refreshed the computers, and we have done this summer for the various workstations around the university.
Yeah.
And we aim to provide a wide range of IT facilities for students as well as the software packages that students need. And then, you know, along with that, we have a breadth and range of Welsh medium teaching, and we take pride in delivering that to a high standard. We take pride in being a research-led teaching institution, so that Students will gain access to the lecturers, the professors who are the leaders of their field. Not something you can always say in other institutions.
Yeah, well, I would definitely agree with you there from my own time as a student. So,
and then we also use teaching interactively in our lecturing and in our seminars. We aim to get students engaged through that technology in their learning.
Lecture recordings, obviously, go back in there. So yeah, anything else you would like to say? I feel like I cut you off a little bit there, sorry, that's fine. So the other things we had back from Aber students were the fact that you can join a club or society very easily. That was one of the actual kind of main benefactors from this question. We realised that we do have a lot of clubs, over 50 in fact, and a lot of societies, over 100 in fact, which you can join. There is a world of opportunity within the union to actually find that niche group of friends that, like, I'm going to call some of that knitting society. I know they're quite big at the moment. They normally use the room we're actually currently sitting in to come in. There's about 20 of them in it the other day.
Oh, right.
So you can see just common interest groups, new friends, different backgrounds, different courses. It's a wonderful thing that you do. So.
Well, it certainly is, and I remember back to my own undergraduate days where I was involved in a range of clubs, and it opened up a whole set of new horizons for me. It got me involved with other sets of friends outside my subject area, and actually in the end was where I spent most of my time as an undergraduate. I eventually ended up running the student newspaper, and that sucked up all of my time for a while. So I quite agree with you, and the range of opportunities available to students here is evident at weekends, in the evenings, and on Wednesday afternoons. It's terrific.
So another thing as well we got fed back in it is the fact that we've actually recently just redecorated the rooms like this one, so you can see a nice kind of cloud wallpaper behind us at the moment. Also in the top corridor of this building we've just recently renovated parts of it, so it's nicely painted white, nice and clean, nice feel. The meeting rooms, we just opened up another meeting room as well with nice wallpaper on it, all the chairs and tables you could ever need to hold your committee meetings or whatever kind of student activities students want basically. So that's something that we got set to work well. Going back to what we said about business and law moving back over, a lot of students have also fed that back into us, saying that they really appreciate the fact that everyone's back on one solid campus, and it's good to see that a positive change has been made by the fact that we've made that change last year, if that makes sense. Yes. So it's kind of reiterating the fact that, you know, it's nice to have everyone on campus. Everybody's kind of buzzing. It's a nice little community feel, isn't it?
And I think one of the consequences of that is that the arts centre picks up more buzz around the activities there, the cafes. More students in the HUON will use those facilities. And because there are more students on campus, more activity is happening around in the social spaces, the workspaces, the libraries, the think tank in the Landinen building, and similar areas in IBERS, Bach, and in the physics building. You know. So
it's nice to have the buzz back.
It is.
It's the buzz back in Penglias is what I'm calling it. Like, it's a really nice feeling. It's actually, you walk on campus. In my case, currently going around with freshers week and all the welcome talks are done, I get stopped quite a lot of the time by freshers coming in and saying, "You're that person on the PowerPoint," and I'm like, "Yes, I am, but I'm here for you. That's my job. I'm here to represent you and make you have the best time possible whilst you're here." So the next question on the survey is, what could be better in AberSU and what could be better at AberSU University, or what could we do to make your time in Aber the best and just better in general? So before we go into the kind of questions we did get back, Tim, what could be better in Aber?
Well, okay. One of the things you'll know very well is that we're working with you and your officers to improve the student union and to work on improving the facilities and the look and feel of the union, despite the fact that you've renovated it recently.
A little bit. There's always more work to be done.
There is always room for improvement, I grant you. So that is one big area that we're talking to you about and working on. Another big area that we are taking forward is the refurbishment of the HUON library. Many of the students here will remember the change that occurred last January with the ground floor. We are now looking to take the redevelopment further up the building, so the next floor and the floor beyond that over the next few years.
Okay, good.
And we hope that will make a significant difference to student experience, because all the students use
you want the consistency going up the building.
Indeed.
I have heard one comment saying the ground floor is nice, what about the middle floor? And I was like, they're probably looking into it, so it's very
So
nice
we are getting there, and we've got plans for that. We've got plans to refurbish a few of the lecture halls that haven't yet been changed in the changes that have occurred over the last few years. So C22 in Huon building we're looking at that for refurbishment and a change around there. Another big project that's on the go, which will be close to the hearts of many students, is the Penglias project, which is set to open for September 2020. And that will provide a living space and a student experience space for Welsh medium students, which will be unparalleled in Wales. We are putting in place a student mentoring scheme, which we hope to roll out entirely across the university next year. We want to seek to improve the signage around the campus and to generally continue the renovations to the look and the feel of the campus. The lighting is being changed, the paths are being changed, the roads are being resurfaced. And that sort of renovation to the estate, if you like. And those are the sorts of key projects that we've got on the go. I think the one thing that could be better is our support for students, especially the first year students, as they get, from the day that they're told they've got into AberSU till several months into their first year. So, you know, it's the induction is not just the welcome week end of, but that support and that experience goes on for those first year students well into their first year, because the problems that students may face don't emerge necessarily in week one. They may emerge in third or fourth month.
So the first topic highlighted by students is actually in relation to parking on campus, but it's from students not living in student halls but actually within private rental accommodation down in town. They live within a 3-mile radius, so they don't have access to a student parking permit for campus. What is the university looking to do to kind of try and improve the situation potentially, or can you possibly explain to me in more detail why this is the current provision for students that live within a 3-mile radius?
Right. We've got 2,000 spaces available for parking on campus, and as far as students are concerned, our priority is for those students who live outside the 3-mile radius of the university, and also for any students who have accessibility issues who need to park close to the facilities in the campus. As you can appreciate, with 2,000 spaces, we can't cater for everyone. However, students who live in the halls of residence on Penglias, and they'll be able to park in those facilities. But we have negotiated with the help of the student union various bus routes through town, and they service the university between the town and the campus very efficiently. On the 15th of October, the University Estates and Facilities team are going to meet to discuss the situation. And if you need to feed into that meeting, all your advice and ideas would be welcomed. And I'd urge you to do so.
I'll get in contact with Estates and Facilities in like 20 minutes once we've done for this year. So the last thing, no, it's not the last thing, sorry. Next up, we actually had a lot of students go to us, and they were, what could be better is graduation costs, and they seem to say that for a lot of them, graduation seems to be an incurred cost on top of it, and it seems to be quite expensive during the day. So what can the university do to keep the price of graduation as low as possible?
Okay, well, the university negotiates with companies to hire the gowns and get the gowns sorted out. We keep that price as low as we possibly can in those negotiations. We offer the student accommodation to families who are here for that event, so that it can defray the costs of staying at a hotel or a bed and breakfast in town. But we're very conscious that we keep the costs down during that week. Many departments will run celebratory events with their students, where they'll offer a lunch or drinks around that. And we're very concerned that students have a good day and feel that the day is worthwhile, value for money, if you like, and that there aren't sort of costs piled on top of that of a hidden nature.
Okay, that's fine. And the last bit of feedback we got in actually was we should offer gravy in all our outlets on campus. So I'm going to say that may not be a realistic aim to have, but if you could pick any food to put gravy onto, what would it be, Tim?
Well, okay, roast meals, of course.
Right. So rice meals or roast
meals
okay.
Can't be eaten without gravy. But I'm very fond of eating bread on or gravy on bread.
Gravy on bread, okay.
And it's something I'm South African. I've eaten bread on gravy on bread for years. My mother-in-law thinks it's a colonial trait. But I enjoy it very much.
Okay. So our next question is actually about timetabling and the academic timetable, if that makes sense. I think I've explained that pretty simply. So the first kind of feedback we got in for this was joint honours are having quite a lot of clashes, they found, where they're trying to be in, say, for example, the School of Art, whilst they have to also be like an English literature lecture was one of the examples. What is the university going to do with these situations to make sure that when a student does come in who is joint honours, they can definitely go to all the lectures for both degree schemes? What would the university do to make sure that this is kind of rectified? Because obviously I don't want students missing out on lecture time, if that makes sense.
Of course, and neither do I. Well, the first thing to say is that with moving the Clanbaden students back onto the Penglias campus, this should cut down the clashes enormously. And I have spoken to the timetabling officer, and I've been reassured that the number of clashes that have occurred in the last couple of years have been cut drastically. So students should not, by and large, experience the timetable clashes that they might have experienced having to meet the travelling demands from Clanbaden back here and then back to Clanbaden, this from now on. Having said that, the timetabling office also makes great efforts to prevent a clash in the core provision of different degree schemes. Where the clash may occur is that the timetabling office will typically allocate a certain number of hours to given departments, and then departments will then arrange seminars in those departments.
Okay.
But another department will be arranging its seminars at the same time. So there will be some clashes, especially for minor subjects.
Okay.
But for the big joint honours cohorts, departments will talk to each other to try and avoid those seminar clashes, and that the large majority of joint honours students should not experience those clashes. Where clashes are experienced, however, I'd urge students to go straight away to their personal tutor or to the department degree scheme coordinator and raise these. And the earlier they do so, the more likely it is that the university will be able to do something about it. Okay. I have experienced a situation where a student has been absent virtually all term, and then you ask them towards the end of term, why haven't they been? They say there was a timetable clash. And you say, did you notify anybody? And they say, well, not really.
So you've heard it from the man himself. If you've got a clash, go raise it with your personal tutor or your department degree scheme coordinator, is what you're saying. So obviously with the Clanbaden students, I can't say it, Clanbaden, sorry Anna, when you watch this maybe, I don't know. Obviously with all those students coming back now, because campus is way more busier, we are getting quite a lot of feedback in as well from the survey saying obviously some areas of campus obviously need a lick of paint, need a bit of a revamp. So with the long-term kind of estate strategy of the university, is the university going to look to kind of do up these lecture rooms and make sure that you have consistent facilities all across the board in terms of academic provisions?
Certainly, and the university has made significant strides in this respect over the last 3 years in refurbishing all the lecture theatres, repainting them, re-equipping them, putting down new carpets and so on. And that programme continues where it's necessary. But there are also other issues that the university has to attend to, which are a little less visible. So, for example, replacing boilers so that the heating system continues to function efficiently, to repoint various buildings that needed, reclad buildings that needed. So those are less visible as far as the student experience is concerned, but vital to the continuation of the university.
Well, having no heating in a Huon lecture, I can say it's not brilliant.
But you will also have noticed that the toilets have been gradually refurbished across the campus.
We'll come back to toilets later.
The pavements are being refurbished, the roads are being resurfaced.
I've just noticed the refurb just down the side of the physical sciences building.
Indeed.
That's fine, getting this.
And there are also a number of refurbishments that have occurred to the landscape of the estate. So if a student had been here 3 years ago, they'll have seen the change to the Huon building and the area around the Huon building. The area around the back of the university as you exit to Park Hall's residence. Yes.
So at the top of the hill.
Yes.
So conveniently moving on to hills.
Okay.
Penglias Hill. One of the main bits of feedback we got is can we do anything about the hill? And it's been suggested that we either install a ski lift or an escalator.
Right, okay.
Are there any plans in the long-term strategy for that to become a thing? Are the university going to invest in a ski lift?
Well, I can't say that there will be an investment in a ski lift, but what I can say is that when I arrived here early in the 90s, I was told then by a student that they had placed the funicular railway on the wrong hill. And maybe someone with a bit of money and a bit of brains can see to moving that.
We'll have to see how that goes, yes.
But there is the bus system, and I notice some students will cycle up Penglias Hill. They have my undying admiration, but walking, I would say, is good.
Walking is the way forward, obviously. Yeah. Students have highlighted a desire. They basically want to see an increase in sports facilities and refurbishment. That we talked a lot about academic provisions and the refurbishments, but there is more to life than just a degree. Obviously, sports becomes a society. So the main thing with the sports teams is there's been a really big desire for a new hockey pitch or an up to standard hockey pitch, because a lot of the feedback we got in said it's subpar. They can't actually play the games on it this year, etc. And then another team also said volleyball. They didn't have an adequate facility as well. That's some of the feedback we got this week. So, is the university going to have a long-term investment into sports facilities is what I'm asking, and particularly with the amount of feedback about hockey pitch I got thrown towards me, I'd be quite nice to see if there's a hockey pitch on its way. That'd be fantastic for me.
Okay. Well, I'm a firm believer in working hard but playing hard.
Okay.
And we spoke earlier about all the sports clubs and facilities available to students. So yes, the university does take its responsibility for investing in the sports facilities very seriously. And this last summer it has relaid the floor in the sports hall. It's refurbished some of the squash courts. It's refurbished the climbing facilities in the sports hall, and it continues to update those facilities on a regular basis. Now, with regard specifically to volleyball, it purchased new equipment for an interior volleyball court.
Okay.
So that should take care of some of those concerns. Yeah. But the main concern, and I've heard it as well, is about the hockey facilities. So the university is currently in negotiation with Welsh Hockey and the Ceredigion County Council about scoping out a good site for a hockey pitch, which might be a shared facility with town people or another local school. 3 sites are currently under consideration, and when the feasibility study around those sites has been produced, we'll consider our way forward then. So the university is trying to do something about it. It's looking at various sites, and we hope that we'll have a good news story to tell in due course.
A couple of students have highlighted mental health being quite a prominent issue on campus. Obviously it's a growing problem nationally, so I want to ask you now, is the university committed to investing in these services for students? And obviously, I hope it is a priority of the universities. I'll be surprised if it's not. But is the university doing everything it needs to do to combat mental health problems in the future?
In a short word, yes. The university takes its responsibilities in these areas very carefully and very seriously, because it recognises that mental health is crucial to a student's engagement with his or her academic work. So the university provides mental health counsellors and counselling, and works closely with the local health authority in order to engage with the facilities that the local authority provides.
Okay.
So certainly the university will continue in every respect.
Fantastic. Nice short and sweet answer there, obviously, which is great. Another kind of silly question that some students fell back in, but the bow tower just outside of the union. I've heard, here's a rumour, of course, a student must have heard it somewhere, but I've been told it's going to be turned into a Howard Scouter, from a bow tower to a Howard Scouter. I'm not entirely sure what that means personally, but the question has been asked. I've heard it is a university priority potentially. Can you care to comment on the matter?
Well, I'm not so much sure about a helter-skelter, but certainly I would like to see, as it is a campanile, a bell restored to the tower, and that we use it on key occasions, either commemorative occasions or during graduation week. Having a bell to ring would be a great event.
First, I just want to say thank you, Tim, for coming today and answering all those questions. I'm now going to dive into a little bit of the union feedback. The last question we asked on the survey was, what could we do to improve this building, or what would be in your dream students' union? So initially the piece of the feedback we got was we would like a non-clunky space, so you can walk through, find any meeting room you want instantly, instead of having to dive through the back of the building, getting lost, asking probably myself to get through the building is commonly, where's room 1, where's room 2, where's room 3? And obviously a desire for having more flexible meeting spaces. It's a nice flat space, instead of just going to the library, you can come in here, be kind of by yourself, and we like to say like the living room on campus is what we're going for basically. The other bits of feedback we got was the ceiling tiles. They look a bit brown and dirty, and they could be doing with a nice little bit of renovation, potentially looking at something, make it a bit more desirable to the eye is the best way I can put it. And the amount of times we talk about it, toilets. So I will get back into the toilet debacle, the fiasco, the situation as I call it, but that'll be slightly later on. Just to give a bit of context back, this year we've actually, literally just over the summer, we've redecorated our top corridor, and I did mention this earlier, but we now have 4 bookable meeting spaces, as well as the wellbeing room we're currently sitting in. We've also had the creation of the Opportunities Office just up by the shop, which is for all the clubs and societies to go in there and help you guys organise whatever club meet you're doing, whatever society meet you're doing. Talk to you like you are a current student, obviously, back in the day, so that's fine. We also have the Advice Office down in the underground space, where Angela, our advisor, can come in and you can do whatever advisory nature things you need. Don't really know how to explain the advisor very clearly, but if you need advice about academic appeals, obviously, that's quite a big thing we get, because we are independent from the university. We go in there, if you think you plagiarise, but you don't think you plagiarise, and you need academic advice, come into the union. It's very simple like that. We've also just recently renovated the underground space, so just out the back of here. It's now become a representation and officer hub, so if you ever need to find me, I'll literally just be sitting out in the underground space. Come and tap me on the shoulder. If there's anything I can do to help you with your student experience, please let me know. I am here for you, and hopefully I can make your life better whilst you are a student here. But going back to toilets, we actually had a meeting with the estates team last week, and they've confirmed that they will be renovating the toilets over the coming academic year, and we're looking to have gender neutral toilets as per the policy one of our students passed last year, and we're really excited to see the fact that the university has listened to the student voice. We did do a building report between myself last year when I was development officer. I'm obviously now president, name changes and all that fun stuff. Myself and the CEO, we sat together, put our heads together, went out, talked to students, collated all the information and put a building report of what does the union want to be for a union, basically. The kind of short synopsis of that was we need as much flexible meeting space as possible. We do need an independent space on campus, but we want a space where students will keep coming back to it, and it's a friendly environment that you don't need to be in there buying a burger or a pint to be in this building. You can be in there, you can relax, you can study, you can come in here and play games, come in and watch the football was one of the things as well. Just a nice relaxed living room on campus is what we want. Another bit of feedback we got last week was there's no charging points, or there's a minimal amount of plug sockets in the union. So the union's actually reinvesting in a charging locker. Chris, have I said that correctly? Don't know, okay, so it's a charging locker, so students can come in, lock their phone away, have the phone charging up, go about their business, go have lunch, come back, unlock it, and their phone now will be charged. hopefully that'll be in the next coming weeks, basically. So we also had a suggestion to put a bouldering wall into the uni, but of course we don't see much point in that. There is one in the sports centre. It's called the Box Rocks, that our AberSU Mountaineering Club, AMC for short, does go and use. So if you want to go bouldering, go talk to AMC and go use the university facility. And one of the more funny responses was, we should get Ed Sheeran to come in and live within the union. I'm going to say, to pay such a famous person to live in the union may not actually be a feasible thing for us to do. So instead, we're actually going to kind of take that bit of feedback, we listen to the student voice, and as much as I love Martin for making me do this, I will be dressing up as Ed Sheeran for the day, and I'm going to get as many students to come and do this as possible. We'll be doing it sometime in November, but you wanted Ed Sheeran in the union, and I will become Ed Sheeran-ish, mainly because of student voice, and obviously it would be a nice thing to do. Would I tempt you as dressing up as Ed Sheeran as well?
I'm not sure if I'll dress up as Ed Sheeran, but I'll certainly come up and
cover up for the day at least.
I will.
We'll see what university staff we can get to do it as well. That's fine. So yeah, that will be happening sometime in November, just to reiterate. And I think we're actually done for the day, which is really quite nice. I would like to thank Tim for coming from the university, obviously to give the feedback from the university. I've been Bruce with quite a sore voice, so most of this will be edited hopefully, and thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.